The month of March is my birthday month. Okay, it's my birthday month. I want to have a good time. This is such a satisfying hobby. Because I have 2 subscribers. Oh my goodness. I thought it would be fun if whilst I make my 10th sourdough thing, talk about and I guess review. Is this number 10? My other sourdough bakes. One of these days I'm going to get on here not looking, don't look complete hot mess. Good morning. This is my gorgeous Miss Wheatley Flores. Whilst I mix up this dough, we're gonna talk about this loaf. Okay, so this is take 5,000,003. So I had done a lot of research and a lot of different videos and blog posts and all that kind of stuff whilst doing my starter. So I was very familiar with the concept of the simple sourdough loaf, and I was geeked. Okay, I was so geeked to have my starter. It was absolutely in my mind what I thought was the hardest part. So yeah, I had a lesson here on simple versus easy, but overall it turned out really, really good. A solid 8 out of 10. Now, my second loaf. It was a lesson in cockiness. You hear me? What I was trying to do was to merch. Entirely too much. I was super distracted and just trying to do a bunch of stuff, which is crazy because sourdough really is only maybe like 5 minutes max of hands-on time. It's mostly waiting. So the fact that I made myself so distracted to the point where I wasn't paying attention, oh my goodness. But it tasted fine, but I forgot to turn the oven down because I preheat the oven way hotter than what I bake at. I just put the loaf in there, turned it down. Forgot to turn it down. And yeah, so it was underbaked by about 5 to 10 minutes. It was still edible for sure. Looking at it, she was not cute. 4 out of 10. Third project was bagels. This is what I was distracted doing with my previous second loaf. Now, this was an experiment. I had never made bagels before in my entire life, in my entire baking career, so it was my first time. And this is also only my 2.5. It wasn't even really my third. It was like my half-second version, or it was like my half-second thing I had ever done with sourdough. So I didn't know enough to adjust. The recipe I picked was not the recipe for me. I just didn't have enough know-how to be able to, 1, recognize that, and 2, to adjust. So once again, when I tell you they tasted delicious, but they was one step off of a Chinese fighting muffin. Like, oh my goodness. It was not great. It simply was not. 4 out of 10. Tasted delicious, but the texture was just so off. It was so off. So next, this is my personal redemption, like, bake, because failure is, I'm fine with it, but if I have too much of it, we need to fix it. Okay, I can only have so much failure before I'm like, okay, we're nipping this in the bud. So after 2 failed projects, my redemption loaf, standard, simple loaf, just tried it again, and it turned out beautiful, damn near flawless, but it was so nice. Made sure I was paying attention, completely present and in the moment, and she was gorgeous. 8 out of 10. In that redemption arc, I did blueberry bagels, and man, these were so good. They were so good, and this was really the baking project where I was really intentional about observing what I was doing. So I made the dough. It turned out gorgeous, beautiful, and wonderful. Then I did a little experiment to dial in my oven temperature, because apparently my oven is ferocious. She bakes really, really hot. So I was able to get that temperature together, as well as the baking time, to see which one needed to be adjusted, and, put stuff in, take it out the night before, let stuff rest longer. It was a lot of just experimentation on one batch of dough with one different element at a time. So that one, so good, 9 out of 10. And then I wanted to move on because I'm like, great, got it, mastered. Not really, but I had a good result a lot. So I was just like, great. Tried this focaccia. Now, for the focaccia, it was, what I will say, most of the time there is nothing wrong with the dough itself. When I make it, it is usually in the baking and resting. That is where I faltered, especially in the beginning. The focaccia, it was to that point, the wettest dough I had ever made. It was also really fun. It felt really good. Highly recommend focaccia if you've never made it. But it was also sourdough, so it just takes a long time, and I was not used to how long it really takes. So I did the focaccia. The vessel I baked it in was entirely too big for the amount of dough, so it was way too thin. And also, I didn't let it rest long enough. I simply did not let it rest long enough. But I will say, my God, this thing was so delicious. It tasted so good. The texture was off, but it wasn't inedibly off. It just wasn't that huge bubbly gorgeousness of focaccia, but it tasted so good. So it gets a 5 out of 10. Now to the fun one. I have a full video on these, so I'm just gonna lump them together, but it was my cheddar jalapeno bakes. Baby, when I tell you my favorite flavor of everything is jalapeno cheddar jalapeno. However you want to order those, I love them both together. And it's a full video, but this is a 9.5 out of 10 bake for me. Love it. After that, I did a chocolate loaf because my aunt, she is a chocoholic, and I don't really get too many requests, but when I do get them, I'm so excited. So this one was really fun, and I got to experiment a little bit with my scoring, so that was also fun. And yeah, I will say at this point, my starter was still kind of acidic, so this was a more sour loaf. Which I didn't use Dutch processed cocoa when I did it, so I feel like that kind of accented the sourness a little bit. But overall, it was still really, really good. I just need to adjust the recipe that I use, because at this point I barely use a recipe. I kind of just riff. But it was good. 8.5 out of 10. So the last loaf I did in 2025 was this whole wheat loaf, and it was beautiful. When I tell you, she was gorgeous and perfect from start to finish. I tell you, this girl was it, okay? She was that girl, and she knew she was. It was so good. I had really, really dialed in my shaping, because practice. But also at that point I had found my teacher for baking in general, not just sourdough, but baking in general. I found my teacher. He's so helpful. But oh my goodness, it went so well. It was so delicious. And this is a straight 9.5 out of 10 for me. Only because I don't give myself 10. I barely give myself 10s, but they were so good. Some things that I have really enjoyed about this hobby, and honestly, this hobby does what I feel like hobbies should do. I not only learned about a new craft and got to have fun, but it also taught me things about both myself and just kind of life for me in general. So I thought that was really cool, and I'd like to share them with you. The first lesson that was kind of hammered home for me was there is a big difference between something that is simple and something that is easy. I feel like it trips people up. Sourdough is very, very simple, but it is not always easy. And that's not a bad thing. It's okay. Yeah, so if you're anything like me and if you do not get it right the first time because you deem it something that is easy and you get upset with yourself for being dumb and not getting it, sis, first of all, don't talk to my friend like that. And second of all, it's okay. It is okay. It is probably very simple, but it is not exactly easy. Second lesson, give things the time that they deserve and do not begrudge the things for taking time. So when you're doing something new and you're like, okay, cool, it'll take, however much amount of time. This is you time. This is time for you to enjoy. If it is something that you know you don't have like the time to really dedicate to it, I would say move it until you do, because it deserves the time and so do you. So, back up off my friend like that. You being real judgy. I don't like it. This is me to me. So my third lesson is you do not need to be an expert to have instincts. If something doesn't feel right, or you're like, does it? It's like, even if it doesn't like look like it, you still kind of know like, it doesn't look like the picture, but it's still okay and it's good. And trust yourself a little bit more. And whether it's good, bad, indifferent, or whatever, instincts are still a muscle, but you don't need to be a full expert to exercise your instincts. I feel like that didn't make sense, but hopefully there's somebody out there who gets it. Fourth thing, I really just internalized and it just clicked in my brain was to be intentional, Lord, be intentional about the act of observing. Observing is so important in life in general. And I'm not saying be like obsessed and you have to be very, like psych with it and see every detail about everything and analyze. It's not that serious. Yeah, just observe and be intentional about really like feeling what's in your fingers and just what you see, and also take notes. Because I believe in notes. But yes, be very intentional about observing. Don't just let your present moment kind of like pass you by and not notice things in it. The fifth thing I learned is finding the right teacher can be an absolute game changer for you. So my chosen teacher is Bake with Jack for when it comes to baking and now cooking, because love it. I've been a part of the Home Bakers Club for like 3 months, having a great time. I regret nothing. It is worth every economical penny because it is not expensive. Having the right teacher, that person that teaches in the language that you learn, I feel like it's such a game changer because we are inundated with information, and a lot of the times I don't feel like people realize like having the information isn't always enough. If you do not have a level of expertise or a level of context, like a level of backstory to put the information you are learning into context, then it's low-key kind of useless. You know what I mean? Like, knowledge is power. Absolutely. But if you don't know how to use the knowledge that you have, it loses its power, And sometimes you will just not find that person. And you have to become that person for yourself. And that is also okay. Which kind of brings me back to my, previous point of be intentional about observing, because that's how you're going to learn, is observation and trial and error. To me, that's fun. And that also brings me to my sixth and final lesson is play is a human need. It is just as much for adults as it is children. Just because we play differently does not mean that we don't need to play sometimes. We've literally just completely taken out this element of play in our lives, and I don't like it. I don't like it. We need to stop punishing ourselves for getting old. Like, it's Anyway, those were my life lessons that I have learned. I was gonna say through like my baking and sourdough, they kind of helped but you know, just triggered the lesson in my life, if you will. But yeah, I do love me some sourdough. Glorious crusty flouredness. Tomorrow we are going to bake. Let me clean up and I will see you tomorrow. I am waiting on the oven to heat up. I guess I will talk about the new stuff that I've gotten. You guys saw the little UFO lamb that I got to slice bread. Then I also got like that Banneton basket, which is, I feel like that's actually really like helpful. I really like it. I don't really like that particular one. I really want to get the cane ones because one, I feel like that's more versatile, because this one I cannot use without the liner, but the cane ones, if I want to, I can use those without the liner. And I recently just got a bowl scraper. I was so reluctant to get one only because I already have one in my storage unit. So I was so reluctant to get it. I'm like, why am I gonna get it? I know I already have it. I don't want to get more stuff when I know I have the stuff. Also, who's going in there unpacking their boxes looking for it? Not me. Not I. Really, I've used the bowl scraper I think for like 2 or 3 baking projects, and immediately I'm like, the fudgerable was I waiting for? I recently just got some pans. I need to get another one. That was literally the last loaf pan in the store. I need to get one more. I like having things at minimum in 2s, but preferably in 4s. I also accidentally got a little like mini loaf pan set, which I did use for discard loaves, which I'll put a picture right here. They were so cute. So cute. So cute. I got these little spurtle things. Because the jars and stuff that I use, all the jars that I have are just really narrow, and I was just like, you know what, let me just get this. This is so unnecessary. It is, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. I use it because I bought it, but you don't need it. I didn't get that like sourdough starter thing. I really do want to try again. I have a thriving Wheatley Flores is thriving in my fridge. You hear me? She's having a great time in there, so I don't need another starter. I do want to try and make another starter for no other reason than to see if it's easier if I can get it to be starter faster than the last time, because the last time it was a lot of trial and error. So I don't know, part of me wants to experiment with that, just to experiment with that, so I can give birth to Ms. Wheatley Flores' sister, which will be, y'all ready for this? Wait. Billie Eilish. Yeah. Because I'll be using rye flour. I have 2 subscribers. I'm so happy to have you here. I don't know you, but I genuinely love you. I appreciate you. Hopefully you stay. I'm down to the last 30 seconds. Let me stop yapping. The fact that this is not dyed yet. Insanity. Crazy. My little setup, because I don't yet have a baking stone, my setup is a baking tray at the top of my oven and a baking tray in the middle, and I preheat both of those with my oven. I don't preheat it as long as I would if I had a Dutch oven. So these I only preheat for maybe 25 to 30 minutes. And then I have the baking tray kind of on the floor of the oven, a deep roasting tray, excuse me. Because I now bake with steam because I'm fancy. And that is my setup, and it works really, really well because the top tray catches the steam. So that way, because I don't have a cover for my loaves, but yeah, that top tray really does a good job of catching the steam and like helping. All right, so now that I have rambled for entirely too long, let's go ahead and try and wrap this up. Right there. Okay, it has been a few hours. You are nice and charged. Let's cut some loaves. They look so cute. These are the palest loaves I've done thus far, but it's an experiment. So this is The first time I think I've ever done sourdough with just white flour. Does that work? I don't know. I guess that works. But yeah, look at her and her cuteness. She's so squat and a little bit crusty, but also really soft. So nice. And here is the other one. She burst a lot on on like one end. Like she's real flat over here and very busty over here. Me trying to work out these angles. Cause the way I can literally not, I can't. Yeek. Crooked, it's not that crooked. Ooh. Ooh. Mmm. I don't know why people do that. I need to stop eating and wrap this up. I guess that's it for this. This loaf also so good. I literally can't stop eating. I hope you've had a good time. This was a blast for me. I love baking and I would love to hear what you are working on. It doesn't have to be sourdough. This would be a lot easier if I had actual like questions to answer, or you know, like comments to respond to or something like that. So I'm kind of just riffing right now. I have really enjoyed this foray into sourdough baking. How this kind of like took over all of the videos that I have been making lately is so funny to me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope come next one I will be less informal. I have a lot of things planned that I am really excited to try and execute. Thank you so much. I have loved being here with you so far, and hopefully you come back and we can hang out again because I'm really enjoying my time with you. So yeah. Oh God, I need to shower and get all this dust off me because I am dusty.